You know, some monsters are just monsters. But every once in a while, you find a creature from folklore that's about so much more than just fear. It's about love, it's about history, and it's about the one artist who gave a legend its unforgettable face. So let's get into the story of a creature that's way more than a monster. But first, a quick question for you. Just picture it. You're walking down a path, and right next to you is a forest so thick and dark you can't see anything inside. It's late. What do? Go ahead and vote, because that feeling right there, that hesitation, that's exactly where our story kicks off.
Because you see, in the folklore of West Africa, there's a very specific reason to be a little nervous about those trees. A reason that waits patiently way up in the highest branches.
And this is it. Meet the Sasabonsam. It's a name that's been whispered for generations among the Akan people, especially in Ghana. It's not really a ghost, and it's not just some animal. It's something else. Okay, so check out these details, because this is what the oral stories say. The Sasabonsam doesn't hunt on the ground. No, it lives way up in the canopy, using these hooked feet to just hang from the branches. And it waits, dangling its long legs down like bait to snag anyone who wanders too deep into its territory. Oh, and its teeth? The legends say they're made of solid iron. For centuries, this creature was just a story, a terrifying idea you'd hear about in the dark. But then, one man took that fear and decided to give it a physical form.
So how does that happen? How does a legend that people only hear about suddenly get a face, an image so powerful that it ends up in museums all over the world? Well, the answer isn't a myth. It's the real-life story of a master craftsman. This is Sasabonsam. He was born into a famous family of Ashanti carvers, and honestly, he was a prodigy. By the time he was a teenager, he was already making incredible art for royalty. But in 1925, he did something nobody had done before. He claimed to be the very first person to carve the Sasabonsam, turning this spoken legend into something you could actually hold. His skill was so amazing that his career took him from serving kings to having his work shown at the Smithsonian. And right here, you can see his vision taking shape. On the left, that's one of his early versions of the Sasabonsam, carved on a staff for a chief. And on the right, that's a later sculpture he made for a much wider audience. The bat wings, the powerful stance, all those unique details, this was Sasabonsam defining what this creature looked like for the rest of the world.
But once the Sasabonsam had a body, it started on a new, pretty complicated journey, one that took it really far from the forests of Ghana. So Bonsu's sculptures started catching the eye of British colonial officials who were in the area. They heard the local legends about this terrifying creature, and they wanted a piece of it, kind of like a souvenir or a trophy. So Bonsu started carving these freestanding figures specifically for this new tourist market. But here's where it gets weird. When these incredible carvings made it to Western museums, they ran into a problem. One curator was asked why a Sasabonsam sculpture by Bonsu wasn't out on display, and his reason was just baffling. He said it was too modern. And this is why. It was a huge dilemma. See, Western institutions at the time often wanted what they called traditional African art, stuff they saw as timeless, anonymous, made for ancient rituals. But Sasabonsam was a famous, living artist. He was adapting a folk story for a new commercial audience. His work just didn't fit into their neat little boxes. Was it an authentic artifact or a tourist piece? Was it traditional culture or was it modern art? Because of all this confusion, his work often ended up in storage instead of in a gallery. Okay, we've talked about the monster, we've talked about the artist, but that leaves us with the biggest question of all. Why did this story even exist in the first place? What was it really for? I mean, really think about that. Why would people invent something so genuinely horrifying? The answer has nothing to do with being scary for the sake of it. It's actually way deeper and much more human than that. Because so often, monsters are just metaphors. They're cautionary tales that are meant to protect people. The deep, dense forests in Ghana were beautiful, sure, but there were also places where a hunter or a child could get lost, or fall, or run into a dangerous animal. So, how do you teach that danger in a way that no one ever will forget? You create a story. You invent a monster that lives in the trees and snatches anyone who wanders off alone. The Sasabonsam isn't just a vampire story. It's a story born from the deep, deep fear of losing someone you love. It's a physical manifestation of a whole community's desire to keep its family safe. It's a legend that's actually powered by love. And that feeling is totally universal, right?
Maybe your family had a story about something that lived in the deep end of the swimming pool, or a boogeyman that would get you if you stayed out too late. So many of those stories come from the exact same place of just wanting to protect someone. We would love to hear your versions. Share the legends your family told to keep you safe down in the comments.
So, when you put it all together, this ancient legend, the master artist, and the very human emotion driving it all, you really start to get why this story has lasted for so long.
Sasabonsum's genius wasn't just that he was an incredible carver. It was that he managed to give a face to a feeling, that feeling of protection. He captured a cautionary tale in wood and created an icon so powerful that the story of the Sasabonsam could leave Ghana and be understood by people everywhere.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. The Sasabonsam was a story for a specific time and a specific place, but that instinct behind it is absolutely timeless. So what are our modern-day Sasabonsams? What are the new cautionary tales we tell? Not with monsters, but with new words and images, all for the same reason, to protect the people we care about.
If you're someone who enjoys getting into the real history and the human stories behind these legends, and not just the quick jump scares, then definitely make sure to save this explainer for later.
And finally, every single country has its own incredible stories just waiting to be told. Let us know in the comments which nation's folklore you want us to dive into next. Thanks so much for watching.